Good day, everyone. Welcome back to the MatchNet Podcast. It's a podcast just for you single folks who are preparing for the matching and blessing. And I want to make a special episode for a particular young man who I've been talking to on a WhatsApp that I know very well. And I know you're listening to this. So I want to make this episode for you because you are serious about matching and blessing, and you are going through the works of figuring out faith, figuring out who your parents are, figuring out what this blessing thing is and how to get matched in the most healthy way possible. So this episode is for you and for all of you people in that boat. So this is going to be special, guys. Check this out. I'm going to be talking about my experience recently coming back from Korea with my wife, hsa-uwc. We just went there for 5 nights and we had the most incredible experience you can imagine. I'll talk about personal experiences, highlights, lowlights. This is going to be full-on testimony with videos and photos. I'm going to be showing you guys an exclusive tour of the Cheongwon-gung that I put together that I think is a great depiction and illustration of the Cheongwon-gung experience. And you're not supposed to be filming in the inner sanctum. And so I'm going to take you on that journey. And if you're watching on YouTube, cool. If you're watching on Spotify, because most of you guys are on Spotify, then I encourage you to, I'm going to upload the video to Spotify because you can watch this video in Spotify as well. So you can listen to it there and watch it. All right. Highlights, lowlights. Okay. Let's start with before going to Korea. I have been going to, for context, I've been going to Korea to put on this blessing thing. Not the blessing, sorry. Let's back up. To support in supporting the blessing experience for all the couples, the international couples that are getting blessed. And I've been going to Korea basically every year I counted the first time I actually counted the 13th time going to Korea for this thing. So 13 years of doing this. And this is the first time that hsa-uwc was able to come with me. She's interesting. She was like just out of the blue. She's like, I want to go to Korea. I want to go to the blessing, which is, so you understand, very, very far-fetched and out of this world, because our youngest daughter is 3 years old. They've never been separated. They've never separated. There was one time that we went on a one-night trip to the mountains here in North Carolina, and our daughter stayed overnight with my parents, and this was maybe a year ago now, 6 months ago. And that was kind of rough for her because not for my mom, but for our daughter, because she's 3, right? And she had a hard time sleeping and waking up at night because mommy's not there. And so for our family, this is a big, big deal. The first time ever separating for 5 nights. It was not easy. There was a lot of tears. Man, our daughter, we said goodbye, and then we called her as soon as, we could. And we called her and we put on the video chat and she was just tearing up. She was trying not, we could tell that she was trying not to cry. She was just holding her mouth like this, trying her best not to cry. And it was the sweetest thing, but also very, yeah, it was really hard for us. And hsa-uwc and I were very emotional. We were very emotional when we were in Korea and saying goodbye. So not something we do often, not something that we want to do often, but for this time, hsa-uwc felt very strongly she's got to go to Korea. And she didn't know why exactly. Hopefully we'll unpack that here today. And so I was like, okay, sure. And there was this window of opportunity for my wife. She gets inspired to do something. And I know that there's a window of opportunity. So as soon as she said it, I was like, I got the flights like the next day, because I knew later she was going to try to talk herself out of it. Right. And so lo and behold, like a few days before we're leaving for Korea, she starts second guessing and like, oh, this is too much for Iona and it's going to be really hard for her. And it's going to be hard for, my parents to take care of them. And I was like, well, we got the flight. So here we go. We're going to Korea. So we're not clear at this point, why we feel like there's some kind of spiritual guide that's pressing hsa-uwc to come with me this time to Korea. And we're like preparing, and she's kind of talking about like, oh, I'm going to go visit this person in Yosu, and I'm going to go travel, because she lived in Korea for 7 years. Yeah. Just so you guys know, she was a student there, Sunmoon University, graduate. She was on STF. So she's like all in all like 7 years or so. And so she's very familiar with people. She knows tons of people. And so she's like, I'm going to go visit this person. And I felt very strongly. And I was like, hsa-uwc, honey, this is the first time you're coming with me. Your job is going to be to support me. It's just to be with me, to be present with me, and just enjoy the experience together. Because if you're off, going meeting your friends out in the beach or whatever and having a good time, I'm just going to be worried the whole time about you. And I put it like this: if they're really good friends, they will come to you. Because we're going to be staying 5 nights in a resort. We're going to be in Champyeong at the Blessing, right? At the stadium. If they're really, truly good friends, they will come to you. And so we just had faith in that. And she actually agreed with me on this. And she said, you know what, you're right. She's going to stay with me and she's going to support. So that is what happened. She was my supportive wife the entire time. And I was very, very proud to be there with her. Every moment I could, I was with her. Just like you can imagine just how happy I was to be with this woman that I talk about all the time here in the podcast and in my talks, and finally be with this real person that is totally not make-believe, guys. I have evidence that she is here with me. And we just had such a wonderful time. So on the way to Korea, you can imagine it's like, just so you guys know, traveling without children is amazing. And I don't say that lightly. I don't say that in the sense like children are annoying, whatever. It's just a reality that if you have a reference point of what it's like to travel to Japan or Korea on a 17-hour plus flight with delays and layovers, and one of them is sick and everyone's jet lagged, and you have to be delayed in an airport overnight. If you have that reference point of what absolute is just really hard to do, then anything below that is just, this is amazing and fantastic. So anytime people are like, oh, Benjy is such a hard, I'm sure it was such a hard trip. Like, no. You don't understand. This is amazing. It's just me, my wife and I, we got to sit together because in flights like these, they're packed. It was Golden Week, actually, in Japan and Korea. It was Golden Week. Lots of people traveling, packed airplane. They told us we would have to sit separate. And then I just like went to the gate agent before our flight to Korea, the one to Korea. And I was like, you know what? This is my wife. We've been married for 16 years, right? It's like, okay. And I was like, or 15 years, going on 16 years. And I was like, I just want to sit next to her. It would be really amazing like this, right? And that person wrote our name down. And then right before we boarded, he was like, yeah, we got you a flight. And I was like, God bless you, man. You are incredible at your job. So we were able to sit next to each other. And guess what we did the whole time? We watched movies together. That's what you do. Here's a life hack for you guys. We watched movies, and I did this because I like watching the same movie. We simultaneously played the same movie at the same time. So I played hers and played mine. I would listen to English. She would listen to Japanese. We watched a few movies. We watched Inception together with DiCaprio. And this is humorous to me because we both fell asleep at some point during this Inception movie. And I've never made it through the entire movie, to be honest with you guys. I watched it multiple times, usually in the airplane. I've never made it through it. And the thing about Inception is if you fall asleep for 5 seconds, you're going to completely be lost. And so by the time I woke up, we were in the North Pole. I mean, there were that snow scene with the snow skis, and they're trying to, I was just like so confused, and we're just laughing because we both fell asleep and we're like, this is the most confusing movie ever. So we just ended that and we watched About Time, which is an awesome movie to watch with your spouse. So super fun time. I'm going to highlight some key moments in this trip. I'm going to show you guys the Cheongwon-gung tour in just a second. For me, arriving and seeing the couples at the resort that we're staying at, Elysian Resort, ski resort in Korea. It was really special because a lot of these couples they're people I know. They're people that I've talked with. I'm not a matchmaker. Like I'm not matching them, but I know them individually. Or have talked with them here or there, or helped mentor them. Because like my matching style, if you know anything about me, is like I'm not the guy to like match make, be like, oh, you should check out this person. I'm like, I have like hundreds of people in my contacts that are single. I don't know how to think about the algorithm in which people can be a good match. Like some people are good matchmakers. I just can't think like that. It's more of a It's more of a female trait, to be honest. And so I am not like that. God bless people that can do it. But people ask me all the time if I have a match for them. And I'm just like, yeah, I have 200 in my list. So pick one. But I am, the way that I match support is more through, talking with you and figuring out, what's your limitations and, all the stuff we talk about here. What are your priorities? What do you want to focus on? What do you feel like you need in your life to feel ready for the matching blessing? This kind of stuff. Or when people are already talking with somebody in a process and then they start to have conversations with them about something difficult that comes up in a conversation, and I help them to go through it. So I know a lot of these couples that are at this resort, and just being able to see them, to the process that they went through to be with, because I know the processes they've been through. I know the challenges, I know the setbacks, I know the failed matching attempts and the heartache sometimes that they've been through for years. So to see them there, just like so happy. I'll post some photos here so you can see some of the great couples that I was able to see here at the resort. It was just a super blessing. Yeah. So we get to the blessing ceremony itself. The blessing is, I'll just talk about this from my like experience. The blessing is significant. And I don't want to downplay it, but there's like a reality that wasn't mentioned was that your mother's not here. Okay. Your mother's not present at this blessing, which was the number one question I had when I told people I was going to Korea. Lots of people that are, in the church, out the church, jaded, whatever, negative, positive. People ask, what are you doing for, what's going on with this, the blessing vow, the proclamation, the all that. And just to answer the question, it was what I expected, which was that they used a recording. They used a recording of your mother from previous blessing. And that's what happened. The thing that was a little bit unsettling for me is that I really expected a lot of couples to feel like distraught by this reality that mother's not here. It was like the blessing that they're receiving from true parents and mother's not there. So I was expecting a lot of people to feel uncomfortable and kind of disappointed, to be real. But to be totally honest, it never came up. And maybe that's I don't know. Maybe it's a good thing for the couples. I think that from what I heard from people, they were really just present. People are really present. Keep in mind, people are coming from all over the world. Everyone's jet lagged. There's no time. There's no time. Everyone is so just out of their mind, busy and tired. Like people have never been this tired in their entire lives. And now they're getting blessed. So I honestly think people didn't have the capacity or headspace to really like think and reflect on like, oh, what does this mean? And I think a lot of people also were coming there premeditated and ready for the reality that your mother is not there. So they were already, internalized all that. But it felt a little strange just that there was no mention of it. There was no like acknowledgement, let's say, like, yeah, mother's not here. It's a shite situation. And it just kind of felt like it was overlooked a little bit. I think maybe in the ceremony, maybe in just the discussions and whatnot. So, but it is what it is. And I think that the couples themselves and the families that were there, the guests, they took it really well, and they just focused on what was present right in front of them. And I think that's ultimately what they have to do. It's a huge representation of what we as a movement need to be focused on. Is like, okay, it is simultaneously a really, really horrible, out of this world, unthinkable phenomenon, situation that's unfolding in front of us that a year ago we could not have fathomed, but now is the reality. And we can simultaneously be extremely saddened by this. And also we should be determined more than ever, we should be determined to fulfill what your parents came to this world to give us. Yeah. So I was really feeling that like we gotta do both. But also I felt like it was a little bit missing, like some acknowledgement would have been helpful, I think, for the couples and everyone present. So that's the blessing for you. It was a blessing. I mean, a lot of people weren't able to come. That was just a reality. Like the numbers were lower than usual. I mean, if you look at the stadium, it was full. Like it was a full stadium. But I think the main reason is because last year there was a massive 2025 blessing. A lot of people went to that, and also entire continents were not able to come to Korea. The Philippines, which usually has couples come, Africa, a lot of people could not get visas physically. People couldn't come to Korea this time. So for many reasons, there was just not as large of a group as last time. But I'll tell you, I guess my conclusions at the end here is that I'll tease it a little bit. My conclusion, basically, from this whole experience, is that the Blessed Family movement is very much alive and well, and you can only really feel it when you go there and see the people, the real people that are doing this, the real future families of our movement in this world. When you see them, you see the commitment they have, you can't help but feel like, okay, this is good. And these blessed families are in good hands and our movement is in good hands. So that's how I feel. I feel very optimistic and positive, but I'll talk about that little later in the end. The low light, this is just like a funny thing that happened during the blessing. I have this annual tradition at the blessing. I take a nap. I go and I have a special place that I go to take a nap. And I've been doing this almost every year because it is the most exhausting thing you can imagine. And I don't need to be there because I'm not staff for the ceremony. I'm staff for like make sure the couples are having a good experience. I'm not a staff for the ceremony itself, so I don't need to be there, right? And so what I always do is I find somewhere to just take 20-minute, 30-minute, just give me just 30 minutes, all right, guys? Chill. Give me 30 minutes to have a nap. And last year at the blessing, which is like the Cheonwongung opening and all that, I went to the van because we had a van rental and I took a nap in the van. It was amazing. It was like an hour. And then I told somebody that I took a nap and they were almost offended. They're like, how could you take a nap during the Cheonwongung opening and blessing? And I was like, well, it's still happening and it's still important, even if I'm not there. It's like, I don't need to be there in order for it to be significant. I still feel it's significant, but I don't need to be watching it and all that stuff. So that's my thinking. The couples, it's for the couples. They're there. They're fully present. I don't need to be there for it to be important. I still think it's important. All right. So at this blessing, I ditched my wife. She's like talking to people. And I was like, honey, I'm going to go to my special place, which I will tell you guys only here because it's a secret. It's behind the stage. All right. You can find there's a balcony and there's an entire area behind the stage, behind the screen that's very dark. And you can still hear what's going on, in the ceremony, in the event. But it's just dark and nobody's there because nobody sits there because you can't see anything. So I just go there and I just lie down on the floor in this very dark area and I'll take a nap, a power nap for 30 minutes and then get up and I feel recharged, energized, and ready to meet people again. All right. So I did that and I went back to my wife and to kind of reconnect with her and she was upset at me. She told me later, she was upset at me because I just disappeared during the ceremony. And then I had to justify and explain it like I am right now. This is my tradition. This is what I do. I've been doing this for years. I didn't think it was weird, but to her, it's like totally unacceptable behavior to sleep during the blessing. But to me, it's totally acceptable and fine. So there you go. Hopefully, St. Peter will let me in to the pearly gates. We'll see. Okay, so that's what happened. I took a nap, and then the following day, after this whole day of like people going to Cheonbyung, the couples went to the Cheonwongung. I didn't go because I'm gonna go the next day, the day after that. We had our celebration in the evening, which is such a good time. They did such a great job. Karina did such a great job. The best celebration I've seen so far. Because usually it's very kind of performative. There's performances and there's dances, and it's very much like people offer something or someone coordinates a dance for everyone to do together, which is always great and fun. But this time it was very like Karina really involved the entire group in creating an environment of just contributing to the experience together. So we had I don't want to explain it, like skits and of course cake and Nicole and this kind of thing. It was just the most fun. Like people had a really fun time. I could feel everyone was really into it. Yeah. And then, okay, here we go. Cheonwongung the next day, they snuck me in to go to the Cheonwongung. Keep in mind, guys, I'm going to show you this video, but I have to contextualize. I have been there last year when it opened, but I didn't see the inner sanctum because I didn't know it existed. And this is a video of me going and finding the inner sanctum, which you're not supposed to record, but I recorded some of it for you guys because I put it in my little pocket over here and I got some recording and then a lady kicked me out. So enjoy.
So last time I came here, the story is I came all the way to this part, which is the end of the hall, and I thought that was it. I thought that was the end of the Cheongwon-gung, and I did not see that I could go around it. So let's go to the inner sanctum. 안녕하세요, 여러분. 여기 청원구에 왔습니다. 처음으로 왔어요. 처음은 아니고. For me, it's the second time, but let me tell you a story about that. For wife, Chitoe, say hi. This might be the first time people ever know you exist. Her first time ever. There's nothing, look at this. You can actually feel it. You guys are not gonna get a more exclusive. You can feel it's warm. It's warm, mommy, look. It's warm. Put your face on it. If you're having a cold day, you can feel God's love. You can just feel God's love. It's warm, it's patate, right?
Oh,
See?
that's bad.
It's so warm. God's love is just here. And it goes up, look at that. It's a screen, it's just a giant screen, look, see? Stairs, but when I was here, there were guards here because you're not supposed to go up. You're supposed to have a tour or a permission slip or something. There's Fredo. Hi, there's Fred. Hello. 안녕. Check this out. Y'all have never seen inside the toilets. Look at that. Look at this. You guys want to see this, right? Just checking.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that little snippet of heaven. So the following day was really why I came to Korea. I was going to give talks. I gave talks to the couples that just got blessed the day after their blessing, which is such a privilege. I mean, can you imagine all these couples getting blessed and then the next day I get to speak to them about how to have a successful blessing? I mean, that's a privilege. And my wife is there by my side on stage. This was my favorite talk that I've ever given to the couples after the blessing. And then in the evening, I was giving a talk to the singles. They had a singles workshop called Rooted, which is like the Next Gen Missions program from North America, from the US, and then other people that came to the workshop just for the Rooted workshop. So there's about 100 people, more than 100 people that are part of this workshop I was speaking to at the end of the day. So keep in mind, very tired me, just did the whole blessing ceremony, an all-day thing. And then this day, the day after blessing, it's talk in the morning to the couples, go to the Cheongwon-gung, which you just saw, in the afternoon, and then talk to the singles in the evening. So I was in some ways physically dreading this day because it is just going to take everything out of me. I'm going to be so tired by the end of this day. And I was just not dreading it, but I was really worried. I was worried for my own sanity and my physical body that I just wouldn't be able to perform and do the talks. So I gave the talk in the morning. At 9 a.m., there were 3 couples there. there's there's three people, there's three couples there, and I was like, oh, my heart dropped, and I just sank, and I was like, okay, let's get up. I'm gonna have to just give this talk to three couples. I'm gonna put them all on a table together, and I'm just gonna speak with them without a microphone, and we're just gonna have a live discussion. That's what I was planning for at that moment. And then by like 10 minutes later, there was about 100 people in that room. All the couples, most of the couples came to the session. They were just late, and I was so happy. You can imagine. I was just like, oh my gosh, this is fantastic. This is why I came. I can't just talk to three couples. And so I spoke to all the couples, and I'll give you just a brief overview of my talk. This is my favorite talk I ever gave, because last year I gave the talk to the couples. It was very logical and head intensive. It was very like just logical and esoteric, and it didn't land, and I didn't feel good giving that talk. And so this time I decided, like, hey, my wife's here. I'm just going to give a testimony. I'm just going to share a story. That's the whole talk. And so I shared a story, and I started the talk. The first line I said, got on stage, I was like, hey, congratulations. And the next thing I said was, you guys will hate each other faster than you think. That's a way to start a talk. I mean, come on, guys, way to get attention. And so I say it like that, not to be like doom and gloom or just unnecessarily brash or abrasive, but I say that because I wanted them to laugh a little bit. Like it's humor. It's a humorous way to say it, to start a talk. And I did it in a way that they could, like giggle a little bit, right? Because it's like morning. Everyone's tired still. I was like, hey, congratulations, guys. You guys will hate each other faster than you think. Why do I say this, guys? Let's break this down. There are absolutely 100% guaranteed going to be moments in every couple's lives that a moment in which they experience dislike for each other, or disdain, or an uncomfortable moment. Those moments are what define the relationship. Because at moments like those, you can decide, as many couples unfortunately incorrectly do, is they catastrophize and they say, we're having a difficult moment, therefore I chose the wrong spouse. Therefore the blessing is a failure. Therefore I'm not fulfilling the blessing. Therefore our relationship is bad. Therefore we have to do all these things. And therefore I chose the wrong person, and they end the blessing. Okay? It's called catastrophizing. I reframed it completely to say there will be moments that you guys dislike each other, or you guys have fights, or you hate each other, whatever you want to call it. There will be uncomfortable moments. And I wanted to paint a picture through my story with my wife that helps them remember those moments when they come, because that's the only thing I can leave with them, guys. I was thinking about this the whole plane ride. I was like, what can I leave with these couples that actually stays with them? I can give them tons of advice, and that was the original talk. Tips, do this, do this, do this. That's what everyone does. It's too many points. I want to make one point, and I want to make it very clear, and I want them to remember it 10 years down the road. That's all I want to do. I don't want to make them feel good. I don't want to inspire them. I don't want to make them feel like, oh yes, was a lovely talk. I want them to remember one point that will stick with them in their heart when things get rough, because they will. And so that's all I wanted to do. So I talked about our story of my wife and I starting our sexual relationship, starting family in Japan. You guys have probably heard this talk, maybe. In the process that we had to go through to realize that when we're struggling, that's the moment that defines us. That's the moment you have to lean in and say, okay, we're having a hard time. Not we're having a hard time, we're a failure, or this is failing, but we're having a hard time, and that's okay, because this is the whole point. This is the whole point, is that we're able to grow through this experience. And people will mistakenly think that I'm saying that suffering is required in the blessing, which many people, unfortunately, our members believe suffering is required in the blessing in order to fulfill the blessing. Not true. Suffering is only the signal. It's only the opportunity. It's indicative of where the growth can happen. It's indicative of where love can grow. That's the moment that you either decide to learn to love deeper each other, or you decide to run away to escape, which unfortunately people do. But it's a moment. It's a moment that turns in days, into months, into years, but it was just a moment. And so what I had these couples do, the only activity we did, discussion, was like, hey, that moment will come faster than you think, and usually within the first year of living together. Way faster than people think, is that you're going to have a moment of just absolute disdain for one another. What are you guys going to do? Make a game plan. And so we had them share what their game plan was. And I had some people share with the whole group what they discussed as a couple. Like, what are you guys going to do? And they had some really good ideas. They made some ideas about how they're going to talk to one another, how they're going to share, specifically what kind of activities they're going to do to help understand each other, right? Which are all good. But I helped them to see something that most couples don't get right, especially, actually, I mean, it's very rare for couples get this right, is that the thing you need to do is not to rely only on each other when things get tough. Because the plan is good until you guys hate each other. That's when the whole plan goes down the drain, because one of you guys is like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. And one of you guys is like, but we made it a commitment. We have to talk about this. Let's go on a long drive. Remember, we decided when Benji gave that talk, we're going to go on a long drive and we're going to talk about this. Talk about our feelings, and we're going to do the listening activity where I say something and you repeat it back to me. That's what we decided. And then the other person was like, I don't want to do that because I hate you. So the plan works until it doesn't. And your spouse will be your best friend and best supporter until they're not. Because sometimes if people have a bad day, if one person has a bad day, that's manageable. If I'm having a bad day and my wife is feeling good, that's manageable. If she's having a bad day and I'm on top of the world, that's manageable. You have two people having a bad day, you're in for a disaster. And many times, if one person has a bad day, the other person has a bad day as well. And this is in my case. If my wife's having a bad day, I'm having a bad day, right? So what's the solution? You got to find people outside of just you two, because you guys are just two zombies trying to suck the life out of each other, and it doesn't work. You need sustenance. You need to find a community. You need to find men, honestly, just find brothers. Women, find sisters. It's the single greatest mistake that couples do all the time that are struggling, is they only go to each other when they're struggling. When they're having a difficult time in the relationship, they try to resolve it only by themselves. And it works until it doesn't. And when it doesn't work, it really, really doesn't work. And it catastrophizes and it turns into something really messy. And so as soon as those moments come, they're moments. They're not bad moments. They're just moments that will inevitably come. And when those moments come, you reach out for support. It will save your life. It will save your blessing. It will save everything. Okay, so that's all I want to leave these couples with. Hopefully it's helpful for you guys too, is that moment's coming faster than you think. Make a plan for it. Create a support system right now. Because if you don't, you're going to catastrophize that moment into something massive. I was talking recently with a guy who is 1 year blessed, right? And they're living together, and they're realizing a lot of limitations in their relationship, right? As they should. And they're working together on improving, as they should. And they're trying to get help, which is great and fantastic. And he was sharing with me, and I was like, I think you should absolutely, improve and get help if you feel like you want to. But let me reframe it a little bit. What I'm seeing from my view is that you're going through a process that is inevitable. You're just going through it very quickly. Many couples take years to really face their demons and face them and confront each other. But your relationship is such that you're both very honest. They're both very kind of, I want to say, hot-headed or volatile, not that not in a negative way, more like an Italian way or a Korean way. Just like, what I'm saying, just like let's talk stuff out. And so by nature of your just characters, a lot of the tension is coming out very, very quickly in your relationship, and that's inevitable and that's going to happen. And that's a good process that you have to go through. It's really a beautiful process of learning to love each other. It's just happening very quickly. As opposed to some couples that go many, many, many years, and usually it's because one or both of the partners are more escapists. Like they don't address things because life is too busy. They escape to work, to taking care of the kids. They escape to phone, and they just don't bring stuff up. And when tension comes, they don't like fighting, so they just kind of play it cool, right? But some couples, they just resolve it very quickly. And so it's a process every couple needs to go through, and they're just going through it very quickly. I'm not saying it's better or worse. I think it's better to go through quickly. That's what my wife and I did. First year of living together, just like get it all out, and we surpassed a lot of stuff. Yeah, I mean, that's just being honest. Like, you just could be honest with your spouse, and naturally tension will come up, things will come up. So I was telling this to them about this, this situation. And I'm not saying like this couple that I'm talking about is in a bad situation. I'm saying they're actually in the best situation. In my view, this is the best case scenario, is that you're living together the first year and you're struggling a lot. with each other, having really good moments and really bad moments. This is going to happen inevitably, and you're just going through it right now, and that's beautiful. It's a beautiful process, and you can improve. And I'm not saying like, you know, you don't need to work on yourself. You don't need to get help. Like, get help if you want to. Like, work on that stuff together, but don't catastrophize and say that this is a bad relationship. It's not a bad relationship. It's a good relationship. If you're working through stuff together, it's a freaking good relationship, guys. Just know that. All right. Okay. And so in the evening, going back to this day of talks, after we do the Cheongwon tour, which I showed you guys, in the evening I gave a talk to the singles. I'm tired at this point. I'm tired. I'm probably visibly tired because talking to couples, talking with people, going Cheongwon, recording all that for you guys, and then giving this talk at 7 p.m. It's like, it's getting late after a big Korean meal too. And I'm talking to these missions people, and of course, all my unfounded fears about being too tired come out. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to lean into this. And when you're tired, you kind of can relax a little bit. So I just relaxed. I was like, I'm going to relax into this and just have a really fun time with these single people. And my gosh, it was fun. I was making fun of them because they're a bunch of single people that are like 18, 19, 20. And I was just like, you guys are so annoying. I was just like, I think you guys are so annoying. They're like these young dudes that are just, you know, the generation, what is it? Gen TikTok, and they're just like, they got their hair is like, your hair is all the same, and they all speak this yo. They do this thing where they go yo. I'm just like, stop the yo. Where are you guys learning this terminology? Can you just have an original? Anyways, so it was fun to just like talk with some of them and just like make fun of them, and then I just lead into being tired. And you know, once you get on stage, it's all downhill from there because the energy comes. It comes like, you know, call it spiritual influence or whatever, but the energy comes. And I was just talking so openly, freely. And what did I talk about? Same thing. Talked about my story. I scrapped the entire presentation on, you should do this, you should do that. It's just like, no, 1 point. I'm making 1 point. And my main point I was giving them was that you guys they want to get blessed someday. They're probably closer to being ready than they think. Yeah. I don't care if they're 18. I don't care. They're whatever. They are probably much closer to being ready internally than they probably think. And all the things that they think are not ready is external. All the things that you listening think you're not ready for the matching, the blessing, I don't think it's true. I think the only thing holding you back is your own shadows. That's the whole presentation. It's just your own shadows. That's it. Your own demons, your own self-imposed limitations and false beliefs that are holding you back. That's it. And so I asked them the question, I was like, well, why don't you get blessed next year, 2027? I just had them raise their hand and tell them why not. And they just kind of raised their hand and just listened to all their reasons and roadblocks. And then the whole presentation was like, no, none of that really matters. And I just was like, I just shared my story, my experience of getting, you know, preparing for the blessing and building a relationship. Is like, yeah, I didn't have anything physically ready, externally ready, nothing. But internally, I was really clear. Like I had no shadows. I had not a single kind of stain or taint in my conscience. I felt like a clean canvas. I felt like I let everything go, and I had not a shred of shadow. And because of that, I was able to feel God clearly working in my life because I felt very close and connected to God. And so I feel like in most cases, you know, it's case by case, right? But I want to say in most cases, almost everybody that is committed to wanting to get blessed, and will do whatever it takes. If they have that heart, if you have that heart of just, I want to do what's best for everyone else except, like, that's a heart that doesn't exist throughout history. That doesn't exist historically. It doesn't exist culturally, societally, guys. It doesn't exist. Just look at the internet, where people are focused. Their attention. Is it on, how do I do what's best? How do I find the partner that's going to be the best for God? Is that what people are thinking? Like, no, this is new age thinking. This is historical thinking. it goes beyond anything we've seen before. It's like, how can I do what's best for God, for my lineage, for your lineage? Like, that is a beautiful, beautiful thought that is not existed, only exists because of true parents. That thought of how do I use my body, my sexuality, my sexual organ for God and for my spouse, to have children, that thought doesn't exist throughout history, because it's always a bit about what can I get from me. That's what it is. So if you have the thought of what can I do, that's best for God, for the other, I have no doubt that God is with you. I have no freaking doubt that you can put aside all of your limitations and your thoughts of why you're not ready and just go for it. Just go for it. Just go for it. What's the worst that could happen? And this is a really important process for you guys to go through. What's holding me back? Okay, you're struggling with sexual integrity? Sure. You're fantasizing about sexual stuff. You're watching porn. You're masturbating. Don't ignore that. Work on it. But don't let that be the reason that you can't move forward in your life. It's called cowardice. Sorry to say it. It's called cowardice. The idea that I can't because of all these reasons, and I won't because I'm afraid, whatever. Just work on it. Just go all in and work on that thing. Look and move forward. And it'll take you on a journey that you need to go on. That's all I'm saying. So the whole talk I gave to these singles is like, hey, you guys are more ready than you think. So what's holding you back? That's it. That's it. So after the talk, it's like 9 p.m. now. I got in touch with a lot of them, like 30 of these guys and gals on WhatsApp about, that want to like connect with me and ask questions, and I can kind of share with them more, which is really cool. It's nice to connect with you guys. I know a lot of you guys are listening to the episode, so shout out to you. And then, so back to the story of my wife and I. We are now concluding our time in Korea. We're leaving the next day to come back home to North Carolina. And we have to stay overnight in Incheon that night because my wife's sister lives in Incheon, and they just had a baby, their first baby. And we really want to see this new baby. So we're planning to get a hotel somewhere in Incheon that night before we go to the airport. And I was looking for hotels and trying to find a hotel because I knew that if I asked my sister-in-law to find us a hotel, like just to recommend a hotel, I knew they would pay for it. I knew they would, because that's the Korean way. It's, in my view, it's the most beautiful experience that I've ever experienced in Korea with Korean people, is that they will pay for anything. That it doesn't matter how expensive it is. They will just put the card down and just be like, I'm paying. I knew that if I asked them for help to find a hotel, they would pay for it, right? But then I thought, you know what? That's not a very loving thing. Like, genuinely, I feel like it's offensive to a Korean if I did that. If I just got our own hotel, knowing that they live in the area and they both work in the hotel industry, by the way. My sister-in-law and her husband, they both work in the hotels. So I knew it'd be super offensive to them if I just found our own hotel. So I was like, okay, I'm going to let them find a hotel for us. And I was like, so we asked for help finding a hotel, and they got the nicest hotel I've ever been in Incheon, in the city of Incheon, the tallest building. It was called the Oakwood, something of that nature. Maybe I should post a photo. In the most like beautiful, pristine location with a lake that you could walk around and see the sakura, the cherry blossoms, and it was just, and we had the best breakfast. Oh my gosh, I was so hungry by this point in our trip. So hungry. And we found this diner with like a truly hearty American breakfast that I was just kind of craving for some reason. And I don't know how much this cost. I don't want to know, so don't look it up for me. Really expensive hotel for us, and it was such a blessing. I really felt I felt at peace with our decision because we let them take care of us. We let them take care of us, and I felt that was the Korean thing to do. The loving thing for us to do is to let them take care of us. and to receive love, receive their love, and definitely costs more than they would have ever paid for a hotel themselves. And I was really grateful for that. We had such a fantastic time in this hotel that I'll never forget that. Okay, so conclusion here: going to this Korea experience, seeing these couples, going there with my wife. The Blessed Family movement is more alive than ever, and has more hope than ever. And I say that because it's very easy to lose hope with everything. It's very easy to catastrophize and feel like everything is not going well because we tend to focus on the negative. Things don't work out. Mothers, detained, prison. It's horrible. And we know people that are struggling. Most people are really struggling in life. Families, couples are struggling. Children are struggling. Kids are just being raised on the internet and screens, and lots of horrible stuff happening in our families, in our own blessed families. And it's easy to feel that way when you don't talk with them and interact with them. And I do believe that there's for the blessing culture to really thrive long term, thousands of years down the road. I really do believe that it takes fewer people than we think. Yeah, I mean, just look into this if you will. Go do a deep dive with ChatGPT into the history of religions that have survived. Not a large percentage, 5%, 10% of people that are truly devoted to the cause, to the tradition, and the tradition only passes on when people really feel the benefits of the blessing. It won't be passed on through sheer theology and ideology or fear, but only through a felt experience of what the blessing is truly doing for families and people experiencing happiness and children experiencing happiness. That is how it's going to be passed on long term. Okay, so I'm very hopeful that even if 5% of our blessed couples that get blessed are truly magnificent and prioritize the internal world of spirit world and true parents and quality of their blessing and pass that on to their children, raise those children in love, and those children feel it every day, I have no doubt that this blessing tradition will dominate the world. The tradition of committing your relationship to God and to use your sexual organ in a godly way for your spouse, for your future children, for God. I have no doubt that will be passed on for many, many years. So that's your hopeful message from me to you, that it only takes a small percent. So hope you're with me on that, because I definitely am. All right. Catch you later.